seems to be a bill somewhat in solution in search of a problem, but to the degree that there is an actual problem, I would say let's go back and treat some sources. For some reason, we have 3 times as many inmates in our state than neighbor state, Minnesota, but apparently we're turning out graduates of those prisons who are not equipped to be successful citizens. And so I would say that, the Department of Corrections, to my understanding, has somewhat discarded the idea of correction and of making persons whole as part of their job. And preceding that, most members of those hotels, residents of those hotels were first started in schools, neighborhood community hotels in Madison. And Dane County, of course, continues to have the shame of being the 3rd worst county in the nation for racial disparities, particularly in non-violent drug crimes and crimes of youth. So we have a great system for starting and harvesting human beings and getting them into that system and providing plenty of people to fill those beds. But if we ran this society like a business, to have that kind of a failure rate for any other product, we would consider totally unacceptable. We fired the CEO and the board and we'd start over. But let's go back to the beginning. Everything else that I see going on in this legislature session is about cutting away more and more of the pieces that will allow people to possibly succeed, or at least maintain. And the idea that you need to make it easier on those that are already enjoying success for the successful, and make it harder on those who already are challenged just to maintain, is to me a complete violation of Christian ethics or any other moral system I know of, and it's certainly not the tradition of this state. And so I would urge you to put your attention other places, and I certainly do not appreciate the avalanche of measures that are being imported from outside. You pointed out that there's only a few states, supposedly, that have this type of a protection for some of our citizens. We used to be the originator of innovation and good government and good law. And we don't need to be importing it from the equivalent of a legislative term paper mill, but that's what we're doing. And I don't think it's to our benefit. We're better than that. I'm glad that we're in the minority for some of these awful things. It gets back to, you're going to be good to each other or not good to each other. What were we instructed to do when we arrived here, by any God that I know of, is to be good to each other. And the more you go away from that, the more problems you create. If you want to talk about job creation, we have a program around that's very strongly focused on creating of extra-legal entrepreneurship as the only available means of support for a growing number of people. And I happen to be an architect, and without even having those strikes against me, we're 40% that are unemployed as registered architects. Because there's been a complete failure to treat some of the core problems of our economy, particularly in my sector, which is construction. It's normally a third of everything, but it's missing in action. So there's plenty we need to do about jobs. This is a job depletion bill, not a job creation or increase bill. And I'm going to urge you to put your attention on what I would call employment evolution as opposed to job creation. I think that's a faith-based thing that's really not justified. So thank you for your time.